I want to talk to you about Haiti. Haiti is collapsing. Gangs are taking over. In fact, one of them, Mr. Barbecue or some such is his gang name. Cannibals. It's so funny to me that the number of people in the media who are pushing back on the idea of these cannibal gangs in Haiti. It's actually a thing, but the media's like, oh, all we know is the last evidence was 2 years ago. So you mean you have evidence of cannibalism of these? Well, it might just be a gang tactic, but you don't know. They're trying to downplay this stuff. No, here's the thing you need to understand about Haiti is it is a true third world kleptocratic hellhole filled with a bunch of voodoo and Satanism. And I don't say that lightly. I don't say that for you to roll your eyes at. It is actually true. Now, I know this is true because my church actually funds a missionary project in Haiti, and we have had the pastors from the church come to our church, and it is remarkable. It will make your skin crawl, the stories they tell about the satanic and the voodoo and the shaman and the witch doctors and the stuff they encounter. It is deeply, deeply crazy. Now, I realize there are a bunch of atheists out there who don't believe in this sort of stuff. But I'm telling you, there is evil in the world. And it goes back in my mind to when Paul talks about we're fighting the unseen realm, things that others do not see. We can see these things clearly, and part of the issue in Haiti is the spiritual issue, and it has been going on for hundreds of years. But let's not bring theology into where we can just bring actual facts of what's happening on the ground here. Haiti is a deeply impoverished country that has been run by a series of kleptocratic prime ministers. The nation, the island is divided. And here's what I'm fascinated by. If you go around the world to third world countries, the ones that are the most stable tend to have come from the British Empire. You know, if you take a trip to Jamaica, they put you on buses and they get you to your all-inclusive resort and they tell you, do not leave, you'll be the victim of crime. And that's true. Jamaica is not a fantastic place, but Jamaica is far more stable than Haiti. Go to the Bahamas or go to Bermuda for that matter. They are developing nations that are fairly politically stable that were controlled by the British Virgin Islands. Another example of this, Kenya in all of Africa, Egypt, which was overseen by the Brits, and Kenya, some of the most stable countries in Africa. India, it's got its problems, but a fairly stable country. Now, let's do the Spanish and the French. The French and the German and the Belgian colonial territories actually are the most unstable. And when you find third world kleptocratic regimes on the verge of collapse and full of poverty and all sorts of problems, when you realize who their imperial overlord used to be, you kind of get it. The island, Haiti is on an island in the Caribbean, and it shares the landmass of the island of Hispaniola with the Dominican Republic. France and Spain fought over the island of Hispaniola, and the Spanish had developed 2/3 of the island. The French took over the western third of the island, and it was a slaver's paradise filled with pirates and slaves and French. And there were about 10,000 freed white Europeans and North Americans and 700,000 slaves, and they revolted. And they were an island that was not Christianized. There was a lot of voodoo. Christian missionaries were coming, but there was a lot of voodoo. A lot of Western African tribal religions that had swept through that third of the island of Hispaniola that stayed, that were blended together, were modified in various ways. And it was not westernized, and the French largely gave up on it. The Spanish had given up on it. The Spanish poured their resources into the eastern two-thirds of the island, which you know is the Dominican Republic, and where it has its problems and it has crime and it has some political instability, but it is far more stable than the third that's known as Haiti. You can go to Punta Cana. You can stay in a nice resort in the Dominican Republic. I know people who go fairly regularly. Haiti has always had problems. Political problems, theological problems, spiritual problems, social problems. The Haitians intended to govern themselves and have never governed themselves well. You know, I forget who was it Ben Franklin, John Adams, I can't remember who said, it was Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill who said democracy is the worst form of government except for all the others. The Haitian experience in democracy and self-rule constantly has descended into strong men. They had a king of their own at one time. He didn't last. They need something. I'm actually a big, I got to tell you, you can call me a neocon, but Haiti is one of those nations that we should just go in, guns blazing, kill the gangs, and impose our iron will. Or someone should. Haiti has been impoverished and poor, and it has everything to do with the history of the country. It's kind of sad, actually. If you've ever met Haitians, they're wonderful, delightful people, but a lot of them are fleeing. Now, so here's the setup. They're fleeing. They're trying to get out of there as quickly as they can. A lot of them are on boats headed to Miami. Ron DeSantis has scrambled the Coast Guard and his National Guard fleet to stop them. This is from Bloomberg. Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis deploying 250 law enforcement officers and an air and sea fleet to Florida's southern waters to help curb a potential wave of Haitian immigrants. Haiti has spiraled after weeks of chaos and violence. Gangs control 80% of the capital and large swaths of the countryside, forcing tens of thousands of people from their homes. Prime Minister Ariel Henry stepped down on Tuesday to make way for a transitional government. The U.S. is evacuating people. The U.S. is trying to steer the refugees to Guantanamo Bay. So the Haitian prime minister fled the country, leaving the minister of finance in charge. He's now fled. They don't have enough members in the judiciary to do anything. The government has collapsed in Haiti, and the gangs are overtaking. And the gangs blend in voodoo, spiritual religions, the syncretism with Catholicism. It's a very weird situation in Haiti. And the gangs the government has collapsed. The gangs have taken over. The gangs are now fighting each other for supremacy, and it is a survival of the fittest moment. The American government is expecting a mass flight of Haitians trying to flee the violence. When Bill Clinton was president, we actually had to send the military into Haiti to impose law and order. We are taking a kind of step back approach right now, and I don't think we should. And here's the reason I don't think we should. And this isn't the neocon warmonger in me. This is the American in me who believes in the Monroe Doctrine. Kenya, among others, is trying to lead a multilateral force to go into Haiti and reimpose law and order. I think we should do it because they're in the Western Hemisphere. And do you know the closest sovereign nation to Haiti other than the Dominican Republic? This is why I think we need to send our soldiers. What is the closest sovereign nation to Haiti after the Dominican Republic, on which it shares the island? Cuba. The Cubans would love to go into Haiti and impose a communist regime. South of Haiti is Venezuela. Venezuela and Cuba working together could undermine our interests in our own backyard. Working with China, they could really do it. The United States actually has a vested geopolitical interest in going into Haiti, given its location. It's very close to Guantanamo Bay. It's very close to Florida. It has descended into chaos. Someone is going to impose their will there. Will it be a gangland slaying of the gangs, battling it out for survival of the fittest, in which one gang reigns supreme, and then we've got to negotiate with a cannibalistic gang leader who's into voodoo and loves the communists? we should be going in there. We should. I know there's no appetite for it. Look, I used to tell candidates all the time, know when you're in the minority, even when you think you're right. I really think I'm right here, and I really do think I'm probably in the minority of Americans who do not want our government engaged, but this literally is our backyard, and the closest nation to them is a communist dictatorship that has very close ties with China and is looking for ways to insert China more into the Western Hemisphere. We should be engaged in Haiti just to keep the Chinese from being engaged in Haiti. The Chinese would love to help out imposing law and order in Haiti, and that would be against our national interest. Can you imagine the Chinese being able to station warships in Haiti? This is not a fear scenario. This is a very real-world possibility, and our government is asleep at the switch. The Biden administration right now dropping the ball on this. The Monroe Doctrine needs to be revitalized. Joe Biden has no use for the Monroe Doctrine because he actually thinks that the United States leading the world is a bad thing. Actually, the United States leading the world is a very good thing, and I would far rather the United States be in charge of the world order than the Chinese. If we don't fill the vacuum, some other government will. And it's going to happen in places like Haiti, where the government has collapsed, the governmental leaders have fled, the gangs have taken over, the country has descended into violence and some cannibalism, among other things. We have a real national security interest here. But of course, with Joe Biden, American national security tends to be in places where the U.S. really doesn't need to be, and never in places where the U.S. should be. Haiti has descended to lawlessness and gang violence, and it's deeply ironic and hilarious that it looks like the Kenyans are the ones who want to sort things out when they're right here, ripe for us to make sure we have a stable country that close to Guantanamo Bay in Cuba. But Joe Biden, God bless him, he's far more interested in everywhere but our own backyard.
You can